morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the latest edition of Choppin' It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Hey, listen, first of all, I want to start my show off with a rest in peace to someone that did it well, man. A courageous guy, a entertaining guy, and just a downright great sideline reporter in the NBA. I'd be remiss not to recognize Craig Sager, man. The guy, he brought us flash, he brought us insight, and he's on his way to the Hall of Fame. Let's put it that way. What a great career he had as a sideline reporter. His dressing and clothing is something sort of what Walt Frazier do for the Knicks, But Craig Sager, what a courageous guy, man. I remember I saw a show of him one day that showed him going to treatments as well as going to work. And, I mean, he's just a courageous guy, man. And, when you hear something like this, especially, it touches home. I think we've all have been affected by this thing called cancer. And, it's just tough, man. I mean, I look at it like this, man. Over the years, all the money and research that has been come up with for the cure and for the help of cancer, you'd think by now they really had a cure for it. I mean, I can't tell you exactly when AIDS or HIV came about, but in no time, they found a cure to help people live on with HIV and AIDS and have normal life. You just wish they could do the same for cancer. This thing, cancer, is really, really, really has affected so many people's lives, man. But to Craig Sager, man, rest in peace, man. The guy that appeared to have done it right, and he'll surely be missed. To start the show, let's go into the NFL. There was football on last night, and once again, last night display of football. Although it was a must-win game for Seattle, and they came right out and did just that. This contest wasn't even close at all. But once again, man, what a lopsided game on Thursday night. I would say out of all the Thursday night games, man, maybe 3 of them was good, maybe. I'm not a big component of a Thursday night game. If they're gonna exist, I'll say it again. The Thursday night games should only be for the teams that are coming off bye weeks, so that there's no disadvantages in traveling, no short rest. Coming off a bye week, everybody will be rested. Coming off a bye week, if you have to travel, whether you're the home team or the visiting team, you have enough time to do so. Get rest, practice, get rest again. Just an awful display. The Rams, they're going to be heading into the offseason. They have a lot of questions. They're going to be looking for a coach. Word around town is that they're looking at Harbaugh over in Michigan to come back to the NFL. So keep an eye on that, but there's a lot of work to be done in the Rams. Now, for Seattle, they needed this win. Plain and simple. It didn't matter if they played them or a high school team or anybody. They needed a win after losing 2 in a row and getting beat up really bad by Green Bay. They needed to find some winning ways, and that's exactly what they did. An opponent like the Rams was probably just what they needed. The Rams were just coming off of that 42-14 loss by Atlanta. And this is just what they needed. Russell Wilson did throw an interception, but outside of that, they looked pretty good. I'm going to say something about Seattle. Their defense is their defense, although they continue to lose people. And right now, they lost Eaton Thomas for the rest of the season. But their running game is not to be desired. I mean, if you could contain Russell Wilson in the pocket and maybe shut down his receivers, or at least maybe his main target, and force them to run the ball some, man, this is a team that can be beat, man, because they're so one-dimensional that is really a shame. The once upon a time that they had the Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, that don't exist anymore. You know, Russell Wilson is not a running quarterback. He's just a quarterback that knows when to run. So you can't depend on him to be a primary rusher or to just gain rushing yards. He's just a guy who knows how to extend the play. And when the play breaks down, if he sees a lane or see an opening, he will run towards the first down marker or just simply run out of bounds with it. But this is a team that needs a running game. You know, I mean, Jimmy Graham is not the Jimmy Graham that was in New Orleans. Uh, yeah, Tyler had a big game last night, 130 yards, but the Seattle team, in my mind, it can be beat, especially on the road. Uh, I don't think they're a lot. I really don't. I don't think they're a lot. I mean, we give them the benefit of the doubt because we've seen their history. They've been in the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. 2 of the last 3 years, they won one. Should have won two, actually. I still think Pete Carroll, that bonehead play of passing the ball instead of handing it to Marshawn Lynch, uh, I think that was the play. But I'm not that impressed with Seattle. But we're gonna stay in the NFL because with the big games coming up, man, I'm gonna talk about the AFC right now. Denver and Miami tied for that last playoff spot. Listen, this is gonna come down to the wire. I'm not sure who's gonna suit up for quarterback for Miami, but the Miami has the Jets, the Bills, and the Patriots at the last game of the season. I mean, you figure if they get any good play from the quarterback, they should win 2 out of 3. But then Denver has this weekend, they have the Patriots, the Chiefs, and the Raiders. Man, you talking about a tough way to finish. They can easily go 0-3, 1-2. Winning 2 out of those 3 games is going to be tough. You got Oakland that really wants to get back in the first place. You got Kansas City saying that this might be their year. You really do. I mean, Kansas City has always been a team that's always been there. Very formidable opponent, very good opponent. But for some reason, they've been, Jekyll and Hyde. You know, they're there all season long, and then when it really counts, they kind of collapse a little bit. But this time around, looks a little bit different. This might be Andy Reid's best work out there in Kansas City this year. I think that they might stick around. I don't see Denver making it to the playoffs unless Miami's quarterback situation just falls flat and they're 0-3. But I think Miami gets in. And the funny thing about it, it was expected that the Jets might get in coming out of that division. Who would have thought it'd be Miami? But Miami has played some good ball, and quietly they've won 6 of the last 7 games. So when you're winning like that, you deserve the right to be there at the end, and that's just what they're doing. So kudos to Miami. Let's see what they do against Jets Saturday night. I'm a Jet fan. Jets, this ain't no time to play spoiler. As far as I'm concerned, just roll over. Let them do what they need to do. Get yourself in a position to get a top 5 pick in every round in the upcoming draft in 2017. I mean, that's just the way to do it, man. You're playing for what? Are you really saying that Bryce Pettit is the quarterback of the future? If you are, then you should have played him a long time ago. You should have never re-signed Fitzpatrick. That's just my gut feeling. We have work. We have work to do in the offseason as a Jet fan. We need players, players, players. I mean, it should be an overhaul out there. Scrap it down and come back and get a 2-year rebuilding process going. Because this is an awful display this year. Very disappointing. You guys have heard me. They've been among my top teams for disappointment this year. Actually, they're number 3 behind Carolina and Cincinnati. Yeah. And Arizona's number 4. Okay? So, Miami, I think they have a good shot to get that second wild card spot. All right? Going to the association now. Very limited games last night. I want to talk about my Knicks. They did go to Golden State. They were short-handed. Final score was 103-90. The score doesn't indicate how bad they were losing. They would enter the fourth quarter down by 22. They just made it look good, made it look close, but this game wasn't close at all. But I'm gonna tell you something about the Golden State Warriors. I don't know if they was toying with the Knicks or what, man, but about 95% of their baskets had an assist, man. These guys over there sharing is caring, man. They trust one another. They pass the ball. It's almost they can play in the dark or blindfolded. They don't really care who's scoring. Last night it was Klay Thompson. I let him. Javale McGee, he had 17. I mean, Curry, he only scored 8, but he pulled down 10 rebounds, had 8 assists. Kevin Durant had 15. I mean, I thought maybe this might be a game that we'll see something where KP puts the team on his back. I don't think that took place. The Knicks just didn't have enough firepower with Derrick Rose out and Carmelo out with a short shoulder, which he has bruised from diving in a loose ball in Los Angeles. And I'm not one to make excuses, but maybe that's why he threw up so many bricks the other night in Phoenix. Maybe the shoulder was bothering him and he played through it. So we'll see what happens, man. But so far we're 2-2 on this road trip. Got to come out and win this game Saturday night against Denver, no matter who suits up. Let's just hope that Carmelo and Rose is available to play come Saturday night. Around the association, you have Milwaukee take on Chicago in the first of a home-and-home series. Let me tell you something, man. This Milwaukee team, man, they got a lot of talent over there, man. A lot of talent over there. They should be players, man. They should be players. They should be players. I'm not sure what more can be said about them, but they should be players, man. And the thing about it is that they seem like they're getting better. They're very athletic. They're very long. I question is Jason Kidd really the guy for the job? I don't know. I still wonder. I mean, sometimes when you have those star players that becomes coaches, sometimes you question, are they really the guy for the job? And I don't know. I don't like Jason Kidd over there, but this Bucks team, man, they could be a problem, man. I mean, right now they're somewhere hovering around the 500 mark, and they should get better though. They should get better as the season go on. But we'll see what happens. I talked about Indiana yesterday, and I'm still a little confused about them. Puzzled, I should say. This is a team that had so much promise coming into the season, and here they are on the road last night, and they lose to the Pelicans, man. I mean, this is why you got to play the games, man. Regardless of who's in uniform, these are pro athletes, man. These are athletes and players on a pro level, man. You got to play the game, man. But a game like this here, man, they should be able to win. I'm not sure what's going on with them, man. I really am. I'm not sure what's going on with them. But they need to turn it around because what happens is as they hover around 500, there's a team like the Milwaukee Bucks that can get in there and take their spot. And this Indiana team is supposed to be one of those teams. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And then there's a team out west that's struggling. I didn't think they would be a playoff team this year. And luckily for them that the bottom half of the West are really bottom halves. But the Portland Trailblazers, everybody just knew that they'd be a top 8 team, and they may be by default. But here's the thing about them, man. They remind me of the Milwaukee Bucks 2 years ago. Got in the playoff. They weren't on anybody's radar. Nobody expected them to have the success that they had. And as a result of it, it caught teams off guard. Not only did they get in the playoffs, but they got in the playoffs and won a round. And remember, this was a team that lost 6 players. I mean, they're starting 5. So, and I just think nobody circled the calendar when they came in. And they were led by a backcourt that could easily be a top 3 backcourt in the game. But now, they're on the calendar. They lose again last night to Denver. And Denver's the closest team to them. I think they're about 3 games out, or 2.5 games that separates them in the Western Conference. But this Denver team is loaded with a talent. They got a lot of youngsters there. They got almost two at every position. Question is can they come up with the right mix every night to sustain wins? Do they need a veteran presence? I mean, their veterans is guys like Gallinari and Wilson Chandler. I mean, those guys are good guys, but are they really veterans for a young team? They're great guys for any playoff team that's looking for a seventh man. But the question is, are they veterans for this type of team? But Denver, in my eye, in the Western Conference, have the Rookie of the Year, Jamal Murray. So we'll keep an eye on Denver as the season go on, because Portland is in the eighth spot right now, but they're not taking a grip on it. I mean, they're under 500 in the eighth spot in the West. Go figure. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right. So Spurs, they continue their winning ways. So we got a lot of action tonight in the NBA. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, man, you guys, I thank you for tuning in. And once again, man, rest in peace to Craig Sager, man. God, I'll surely be missed, man. And remember, you guys can follow me on YouTube, Troy Ramel Royal, or you can go to my Facebook.com page, Chopping It Up with Ramel. Man, I like to hear your comments. I like to hear from you, and I'll try to address them all, man. In the meantime, man, you guys have a good Friday to a good start to your weekend. And I'll see you guys in 24. I'll see you in 24. All right? Peace and blessings. Yeah, have a great day. Choppin'